All right, welcome everybody, man. This is Dynasty the show, Dynasty the podcast, the show. This is episode 6. I am your host, Ira Bush. I just want to say, man, thank y'all for listening. Today we got a great show. We got a lot of stuff lined up. Um, I'm more like how I see it. Hopefully, I could get stuff played while I'm listening. Like, let me get everything queued up. I'm like, I look at it like this. It's a good opportunity. I'm so thankful for it, just to be able to speak my mind, speak my piece. Everything is gonna come together how it's supposed to. There's nothing like, stopping me from this point on to getting. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go. I gotta handle some stuff. I'm gonna help my sister tonight and tomorrow, so I might not get to do something that I need to do, but I'll get it done by next Monday. It's a lot of, every time I start, being active and, I already was like, as a young person, I already was like, kind of warned and kind of like, equipped to withstand, bound, borders and like, people put stuff in your way to stop you from being successful. And, I've been tested my whole life, and, so it's just, I'm used to the, trying to people making me go through hoops just to get stuff done. So, I'll get that done by Monday or Tuesday, whichever one, if barring them making up another reason and excuse, So, and today it's gonna be pretty good. We got, like I said, it's political warfare going on, from city issues, school board corruptions, um, people stealing funds, people wanting to overthrow, the old and the new want to be in the same, and the new overthrowing the old, and the old want to with rebuttal. I'm gonna just tell a quick story. Like yesterday, I told you I was gonna be on call with the with one of the little programs that's mad over there in Broward County about getting replaced, and them stealing, and everything getting exposed, and all the trickery, and the mockery. So it was for the public, they say. So I'm going on there. They got me on the live stream. You could do the conference number, and I downloaded the app, and these people literally like they blocked me from being a part of the video chat and the video room, and I had to call in and literally just listen to them speak. And then when I told them that I was having issues, these people literally like, oh, this is not my problem. They gave me this dry email, talking about hit this person up, then this person like be more specific, and I'm like, y'all treat. And then they made it seem like I'm having issues getting for parental. That's not the problem. I can handle the mother of my child easily if I want to go to the government, and but this is the problem. I don't want the government involved, and I don't need their help. I just want my child to be in the best situation for education. It's so many people want to put their hands in my pockets, and so many people who want to deter my family for being successful and being who we supposed to be in the world, that they are out here chasing their own tail now, and they're out here lying and going above and beyond just to be something that they not. What I'm saying? They looking real goofy out here. Every day it gets worse for them. So I'm gonna keep coming in. I'm gonna keep putting stacking great good days on top of good days, and make great good days be great days. And that's how I look at everything, and that's how I've been looking at it for a long time, and nobody gonna change my mind about that. So that was just a little spiel about this corruption and these school boards. At the end of the day, I was supposed to go up here to Palm Beach County and go check that out, but I checked the calendar. They took the address of where it's at, and then they put 9 to 9:30 where it's at, and it was like an 8 to 11. Actual, that's what time the whole thing was. So they out here playing. I don't know what they. Palm Beach has, like I said yesterday, they've done so much, and they tried to like stop what I already, I was already ahead. I was already in the game, so since I was born, I was in the game. That's what they don't understand. What I did as a coach in this county, you can't stop, because I was in the game since I was been born. You know what I'm saying? They can't get mad about that. And it goes back to when I started going to school down here, and all these, fake, it ain't even the people that I played ball with, it's the people that they hung with being jealous, and they listening to, over time, all this white supremacists, want to be in the good old boy club, and everybody chiming in, everybody trying to jump down. I'm not even in my area. I'm not even, I could have been way, like, I just laugh about how it was as me being younger, like how I kind of took the back seat because I was around, older people all the time. So I didn't need to speak up like I speak up now. And I still spoke up in my group, like when it was time. I never was like shy or nothing like that. But it's just like I was the youngest. So I always speak about this. And I'm like, now everybody on even level field. Everybody have children, everybody got careers, everybody got their assignments and jobs to do. So it's just like how I'm going with it. It's not even what everybody supposed to be doing. Everybody knew in my camp as a young person, this is what I was born to do. This is what I was supposed to be doing, leading, speaking. It's leading by example. And if I have to go in the field, I can. And I already trained for that. So it's like whatever you want to, whichever way you want to go, you can't stop that. And that's why I got an issue with the school. But I'll be up there on the 12th for my niece and nephew. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna come. I checked in already with you. So whatever fraud and stuff y'all running from that y'all done been did since I was in high school around here, it's caught up. It's already, you already did. You're already out of here. So figure it out. And the same thing go with Broward. Like I went to school there for a half a semester, but my child is in school. You can't stop what I'm finna do to you June 10th. You better have all your ducks in a row when I get there. So all the little stuff I'm stepping up to, and I'm putting in on. It's just to lead up to what is really gonna happen to you. And I'm not holding my tongue. I didn't hold my tongue when I was able to speak, and that's how it's gonna be. Now let me continue. Now let's get back to that's city, that's petty, like in the grand scheme of the money and in the grand scheme of them stealing billions and trillions of dollars on bull crap. Let's get to the point. Now I look at it like this. It's so funny. We are state of emergency. It's a hurricane. Florida. Everywhere else in the United States, it's like grand news. But if you're in Florida, that junk, man, we going on the beach when the hurricane. We going to catch a wave or something. We ain't even tripping about it. They want us to go borrow the water up. But what we gonna need the water for if everything underwater? That don't make no sense. And then they be playing around with these news and creating these storms and making it a big. I don't see the governor and the senator nowhere. These are some of the biggest frauds and crooks and thieves in American history. The governor and senator we got, they should not be in authority at all. These people have done nothing for the real people, and they seeing what's happening when it's time for frauds to step up and speak. What they at? Missing, nowhere to be found, and all in the urban areas. They know they don't come down and come and speak for us. And I'm trying to, and I ain't even in the super urban area anymore. I mean, like, it's a lot of brown, people of different cultures that come from different countries, and they all work, they already earned their stripes here to stay. And I'm in a pretty solid area. It's a mixture. Is down this way is these type, it's the community's built and nice. And I ain't saying everything's perfect, but it's not no real crime to me. The police and sheriffs ride through it, the sheriff and police station around here is not this area is not that bad. So I don't have no real issues in area, but I'm talking about my mom's area. It's not that great. It's a lot of corruption in that police department over there. And then in Broward, where my daughter stays, it's a lot of corruption in the jail system, in the school board, and the sheriff, and the whole political bull crap over there. People selling out for $1, whatever chance they get. And it's getting cleaned up over there. It's a lot of things getting built up far as the buildings, but like the internal, it's not that great still. And it's still inside bickering. And this just me speaking on. And when they go to the Miami, I don't know too much because I don't have a lot of ties there, except for just me coaching and people knowing what I did as a coach. That's about it. But I don't know what's going on in the school board. But I do have people, over that way. They probably cleaning it up. They probably already have done a good job of doing what they can. Hopefully they ain't selling out hopefully they doing the correct things to make sure their family's good in the future, and building for real wealth, because wealth, knowledge and wealth, and health, and sustainability of credit, and like in real spirit, like that is more than just the money. Like you got to have that stuff to be real, like really abundant to help the world, help yourself, help your family. So that's important. And I got people on the whole other coast, that's my family, in the central of Orlando to up north of Florida, that I have not helped enough. That I help some, but it's been like on my mom over here, so I can't really it's like this juggling act. And then I got older elders that don't even stay in Florida, that I have not even touched base with, that I have to do better job of just being available and being able to travel and doing a better job. I gotta, I hold myself to a very high standard. I know it's a lot that I'm saying, but it's just like I have to make sure I'm on point when I do be able to move around better. And that's pretty much it for like when I speak on these political things. Now I'm gonna now this is that was state. That's me talking about these senators and governors not being available on a bigger scale. I don't hear Florida. I see stuff. It's just a bunch of propaganda being spewed out here, but it is some people in other states stepping up and calling out the head person of our country. And I appreciate that. And I found, the more I speak, the more that my feeds get the stuff that I'm speaking on. It might not be in my state, because we got a lot of, like I said, our governor and senators are sellouts. They'll sell your soul for nothing, and they'll sell your soul because you're black. All this, black, or they'll get you up out of here quick. So I'm just speaking on how it is. And I don't really got time. I've been at they nigga. I've been want them out of there. Like I never vote them in. Out of here. I could see it in their eyes, see it in their spirit. They ain't got one, they ain't got a soul. So, I've been one of them out of here. And that's just how it go. Now, when my fees, I got it's crazy because when I was in school, I didn't know who he was, and it was like Trump was giving a speech. He was like the only one standing, and everybody was, get him out of here. And I didn't even know what he was. But he ended up being the representative Al Green, out of Texas. And he seemed like he's been well versed and been around for a while. So I'm gonna play a clip of what he said, because last week he did a preview of his impeachment that he's gonna do on our president, and he just speaks about real things and why him having 34 felonies and him breaking the law so many times, and him basically trying to be a dictator and switching it over to from just overlook some, play a clip of him. Hopefully, I think it's gonna be able to play while I'm on live stream and y'all can hear it. But I meant to record it so you can hear it directly on the mic. But if it doesn't play, I'll do it next week. I mean, on my next show. So I'm gonna play his, and then I'm gonna play Republican Congresswoman woman Jasmine Crockett, what she was saying about how we have these petty old straw man stories. I'm just giving an example about me speaking on straw man stories. She said it in like what's happening now. I just like to give the definition of what a straw man, and I'm going to basically give you a definition of a straw man story, which is 100 different stories that's not focused on the right thing, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on that they doing that's corruption and disruptive into the ecosystem of America and for the better of the people. So we're gonna speak on them two people, and I follow both of them on Instagram. I got sick and tired of these people trying to be me in the world. And I got a whole Facebook and Instagram that I know is high level of treason and government assassination of character. And from my grandfather being such a high ranking soldier, both of them, and my mother being such a high ranking citizen in this world, and my grandmother the same way, these people have helped, not harmed. And they got families, they got grandkids, they got five. My grandmother has, on my mom's side, has 5 kids. My grandmother on my dad's side has 5 kids. My sister has 1. My other sister has 2. I have 1. my nieces and nephews, and my aunt has 4 kids. Her oldest sister has 3. My aunt had 4. We're not playing around about no children. And the same kind of situation for on my dad's side with his sisters and his brothers. And we not, and they attacked us all. And I don't have time to play with y'all no more. And that's just me being very simple. I'm not even talking about second cousins that's very close to me and on both sides that got attacked, even probably worse or similar. And we not playing around. So, the way I speak, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. And we got a lot of great grandkids, a lot of great aunts, and spread it out in the world, in the United States, that y'all disrespecting on a high level, because these people all have done stuff for this world and country. And I'm not playing about it. So with that being said, and I hate to say it, I use my family as an example because it's other families that get treated the same way, but mine's actually earned the merit. So I don't know what they got going on. They're gonna have to figure it out. So, like I said, we went from state, we went from local, we went to state, then we went to city. I talked about what's going on with the school, because that's what I'm focused on with over here and over there in Broward, and then hopefully my cousin them getting the same message to them, that they understanding what need to be done. We got it, like they, me and him speak real talk when we're around. One of them already over there, stuff will get handled. Stuff, it's we here, we in the right in the mix. I got a nurse cousin, she's very high ranked, high level, and it goes my aunt the same way, is so on. Everybody in the position. So I don't hear nothing about me speaking on what need to be done. And I'm being very, like I said, I use it as an example. Like, I'm not really going into nobody's business. I'm just speaking on what I've seen. And it's just for time for me to speak. And yeah. Now, when I play these clips, hopefully, like I said, hopefully it comes through correct. I'm gonna play the one about, like I said, I was doing the show for my school, and he got, they yelling, get him out of here, clapping, and the whole Democrat side sitting down, and he's over here getting bombarded, like, he don't have time to argue with these people yelling for nothing, and they doing all these stunts, and ain't got time for all that. So I'm gonna play his first, and then I'll play hers, where she speaks about Trump. It's like he made a big deal about transsexual, some whatever petty squabble he had with trans. And I ain't saying I support anything like that. Those are petty. Like, that's like, I'm a grown man, so like, I have a family. Like, I'm like that. So that situation has nothing to do with me. Like, it's very petty and it's very minute, but it is a problem, but it's not the biggest problem. So she gonna speak on a whole bunch of other stuff that he literally firsthand having an effect. And like I said, he gonna talk about some real stuff with him, with his preview of the impeachment he's gonna do against Trump, and then the Constitution. And then it was like, she also spoke about she spoke about, I read something like a couple days ago. He was like, somebody asked him in an interview, like, something about the Constitution. He's like, I don't know. Like, basically, she asked, should the Constitution be, everything in the Constitution, they go by the Constitution. He's like, I don't know. So what does that mean? Like, I'm all for it not to be, the stuff that he want out of the Constitution or don't want to abide by. It's the stuff that needs to probably stay. The stuff that he overlooks in the Constitution, like the 1/3 and the whole races and the whole hanging, black and browns, celebrating death of black and browns and whatever they built this country up off of, and enslaving the natives and the African descendant people, or whatever they built this country off of, literally. And like it doesn't even need to be there. Like, it need to be abolished, and they really need to come to the table and do it. Like, I would have came as a president, I would have came with a whole plan to rewrite the whole Constitution in the correct way. It doesn't need to be that many rules, and you stacking, when they do math, it's like 2 negatives equal a positive or whatever. So it's like, like it's like three negatives equal a negative still. So he's doing the odd. He's going odd the whole time. He's trying to get the most negative out of whatever they already did. So it's not gonna work. It might some people might sell out in my generation, but I could guarantee the generation after me not going for it. It might be some weirdos in there and they mistrained and mis educated, but they gonna eventually get on with the right people and they gonna eventually we sell. And then if they don't get right with that one, the following is even worse. So it's like I could see that. And hopefully, people out in different continents and different countries and different parts of the world understand what my message and what I'm coming from, and they're not taking it as me being singular, like I'm in a little small little country over here and I'm speaking, and it's people who probably can't understand me because they have a different language, a different tongue, but hopefully somebody can relay it to them, and we get a little understanding that I'm not going at you and I'm not poo-pooing your type of problem, but we have the same similar problems. We just we know how to clean it up a little bit for these people to not be looked at as bad people, but they still is bad people. Like they still, some people not as strong as me. So, the stuff that I went through, the stuff my big sisters and my older cousins and stuff went through, and I got people in the service that get treated very poorly, and I'm like, we can't really complain. But I'm just speaking on. I'm not really complaining. I'm speaking on. I got to come with a real like a real solution before I really like complain or go to my family with the whole plan, or I try to tell them what I want to do, but it doesn't mean they have to do what I do. It's not like that. So I just like I love it. I enjoy expressing myself in this way. A lot of people don't know that I stopped speaking to people because they so immature about their approach every day. Like I don't mind having fun, but I still have a mental of goals, aspirations. So, that's how I go from there. Now, going on to the federal way, we're gonna listen to these two clips. It should be about 5 to 10 minutes with both. If I just go back to back, I'm gonna let you listen to Al Green, and we gonna see what y'all think about that. All right, y'all. Like I was just saying, man, checks and balances. This is the thing that I learned before I went to elementary. This is the thing my grandmother and my mother instilled in me before. These people have worked in government systems in the not in the biggest ranks, but in the big enough rank to know that these checks and balances have to be taught. Me and my cousins were very high level when we were younger, and we still high level. And that's how we was raised, and it's coming to fruition. We all got very high ranking positions in this world, whether I'm speaking, whether they working, whether they in a, we all love that we love by our peers. There's not a lot of people that dislike us. So we have the ability to speak and come out here and speak on these things that we already learned before we were 5. And the way I look at that is coming to fruition. We got to stand up as a whole community, as a whole. And like I said, I speak on this because I do entertainment, but this is what my whole plan of me stepping in as a coach and being a leader on the forefront for the young guys, before young men, before they even get into college and get into high school. Whether I was coaching youth and high school, so now it's time for I think I did a lot of that already. I still want to dabble in that. I definitely got to make sure the females know we support them. I don't have to coach full time with them, and I can, but that's what I'm just letting I'm doing that because there's people like him who speak from a very high position, and this guy had to literally get the whole, only people he was speaking to was somebody above him, or people who, like he said, that doubted what they said, and he went above what they all agreed upon, except him. So this is where that selfishness come in, and the disrespect and the disregard, and him trying, like he says, dictatorship now. That's what he has basically tried to do with all these executive orders and then it's so unreal written, like it's so my dad or my cousin needed this to be signed in. It wasn't nothing thoughtful about these things and nothing his into the intellectual property was not used when they was writing some of these executive orders. It was just something thrown up because they felt the need to write something. So, and the selfishness behind it is unnecessary, and it's not what we need to be. That's not the way we need to be going. And you still only got 20 whatever years he getting out of the office. He got 4 years. He only been in 100 days so far. So like I said, like the way these politicians that have been studying, and it's not a joke. We're gonna be looked upon as a joke if people don't speak up. So hopefully things get worked out. I'm not gonna speak. I'm gonna let you listen to another clip by Jasmine Crockett, and this is he's a Democrat, she's a Republican, so this is a congresswoman on the Republican side that's not just tap dancing over there on the Republican side. I think they're both located in Texas, so I'm glad I got this information sent to me, or it came on my feeds, because like I said, I speak on both sports, because it's hand in hand. Like when you talk professional sports, you talking real soldiers. You talking the only thing that's separating from them is them having equipment to do something. but they all train like soldiers. They are looked upon in the worldly way once they get their name put out there like that. They're like they're definitely not they training like the with the platoon soldiers. That's also, all professional athletes are in the mind of these people who call themselves the owners, and telling them what to do. The draft is the draft. It's literally has taken the place of the real draft that they had when every year these people get drafted. This is the stuff that I was taught. This is the stuff that needs to come out so people are informed. So when they get drafted, they be happy they get millions of dollars, but these people test on them. These people try to duplicate their energies. Everything has been, this is the stuff that we're gonna continue to speak on to, this is what it is. You either get going to the league or you going to the army, and that's just what it's coming down to. And everybody left the front. You got to figure out what you're gonna do from there, but you still have to respect the people that take care of home base. You got to respect how people have looked upon these people that's just at home base and that's doing their job. And like I said, let's continue. I'm not go. I was gonna what I'm gonna speak on the the NBA playoffs, and I'm gonna do three teams from the three. I'm not gonna do the Jets and the Rams, but I'm gonna do the AFC West and the three teams from the AFC West, and then I'm gonna finish up probably Saturday on the draft. That the guys that got drafted give the grades, and we could be light with it, or we could go to this route. You know what I'm saying? Like I just broke down a lot of stuff to you. Everything work hand in hand. I have not taught music. I got to be a little bit more in depth about music. It's a lot of people that speak about sports and music, but that stuff is like right underneath, media, as far as me doing this reporting and me doing this dissecting of things that's going on. When you speak, when you rap, you telling your story. When when you got a podcast, or and you played in the league, you telling stories that happened in the past and that can affect the future. And the same with people who do hip hop podcasts, and out here doing media outlets. They lived it probably, and they've been in the music world. They produce, they rap, and they want to give back in a different way. Hopefully they doing it properly. So that's how I look at things. Let's continue. Like I said, I'm gonna do it. This one, she was like Trump versus trans, whatever, and she was, she made it light, but it was very serious what she was speaking on. She was asking people questions, and she was like, "Who's the issue? Who's the problem?" And you're gonna see what she was saying. And I could probably play this whole clip, but I want to kind of move on. I want to keep people interested, and I want them to actually do their own research. I want them to get their own opinions of it. That's why I put this stuff out on the platform. So we're gonna go right into it. All right. I like the reason why I don't want to play her whole, spiel is because I have to do a little bit more research. I love the way she speaks. I love the just when we have people like that's not afraid that get these positions, and it's been people like that in the history of America, like, and these people are black and brown people, literally. Like, I don't know, they speak from a stand of people who have ethnic backgrounds that's not just white power, white America, Ku Klux Klan, good old boys club, and whatever they want to call themselves now. This is literally people who are come from an urban background, and I love the way both of them have spoken out, and they both fighting the same but different battles, and on different battlegrounds, and they actually in the same state. So I appreciate that. I'm not. I just feel like everybody gave him an opportunity to come in with a new clean slate, and he has not. I don't go on Twitter. He might be still on Twitter, and he might be still going, a little haywire because the way he was raised and trained. So my biggest suggestion would be telling him to not go on there and to not make a mockery of himself like he did the first time. I don't know what he's doing. I stay off Twitter, especially on his page. So I'm definitely not reposting and read because the first term he did not do a great job on being on social media. Hopefully he's not crashing out. But like I said, I broke down so people won't think I'm just talking about these executive orders to like see what I'm on the state. I'm in a state. I'm in a city. So I'm telling you those problems and issues from here. I don't. My area is pretty solid, but it was a lot of corruption in these police departments and in these school boards where I'm located, where my children are located, and that probably is the same issue for my, across the state. We're trying to get things worked out. I'm definitely gonna be more a part of what's going on. My child's going to middle school, so like I said, I was giving you an example. I would let you know what a problem is. Our governor and senator not hands on. They really selfish and stingy. They want their own little group of very small group of people to have basically the funding, and they want to control it. They want to be the people telling people what to do, which is a little small minded. I always feel that way. So that's gonna be it for political. Like today, I know it's gonna be a little long winded, so I have to shorten down the draft, and I gotta keep it moving, and like I said, I gotta keep my head on the swivel with the disrespect spiritually. I spoke about that in the beginning. I speak about it all the time. I try not to keep too much into it. I try, like, when it comes to mindset and prayers, it's hand in hand for me. So I already, and I say prayer, I mean PAY, not PREY. And people know I'm big on spelling and saying that word just to be, clear. Like, I have I don't want nobody to get things misconstrued. I'm not really stunning people. I hope the best for other people who took the wrong route. Hopefully they turn around and do the right thing. So yeah. And yeah, man, let's get a little light, man. I haven't really, like I said, the NBA playoffs is the NBA playoffs is in full effect. The Knicks, they actually, yesterday was a great game. I didn't watch, I watched the clips. It was a great game, especially in the fourth quarter. It got super entertaining. The Knicks came back right at the end. They ended up pulling it out. Um, I when it comes, if I had to pick a team, I would say I would want the Knicks to win. I don't really have a horse in the race for either one. My team is already out the playoffs. So, but they went up 2-0 on the road. They took 2 games on the road. So if they win one, they were pretty sure they'll probably win one at home if they keep that same energy and come out, a little bit more fired up and not as flat as they did the first 2 games, and they still ended up winning. So that means they probably have a little bit more talent, and they definitely got a superior coach if you could pull out 20-point deficits and fight your way back. So it's more power to the Knicks. I know New York big on basketball, a lot of culture over there. And the coach he been in the game for a long time in Chicago and the Knicks. Good, more fight to them. Like I said, but the key SGA led OKC to, tie the series up 1-1 with a 43-point, win. And like I said, I just think they had much time off. They was a little flat, and they ended up losing game 1 against Denver. So, we're gonna see what they do in Denver, see if they could, win 1 or win 2, and see how that goes. Cleveland and Indiana, I don't know if they play tonight or not, but I think it's every 2 day, every other day now. And if they play tonight, the Indiana is up 2-0 against the 1 seed, and it's similar to the Knicks and the Celtics. The favorite was the Celtics coming in, the favorite was Cleveland going into the Indiana series, and they both down 2-0. Let's see if Cleveland could put it out. I don't know if they play tonight, but they either today or tomorrow. But I'm pretty sure it's tonight. And also the who else? I say Cleveland, Western Conference. Who is it? I'm missing somebody. Whoever's I got SGA them winning, so going to the final, so I wasn't thinking too deep into it. Not the Clippers. They just played the I ain't slipped my mind. Let me look it up. I'm getting old, y'all. Getting old. No, I'm just playing. I don't feel old, y'all. Just messing around. It's just like I said, y'all see how I be thinking about other stuff, so it'll slip my mind. I'm getting to that stage where I'm being a little bit more. Oh yeah, Golden State and Minnesota play tonight. Cleveland and Indiana play tomorrow. So yeah, today it's Golden State versus Minnesota. That's what it is. Golden State versus Minnesota. Sorry about that. I actually am a fan of Minnesota, so I like the young players. They lost the first game. It was a little flat. They only scored 88 points against Golden State. But Golden State did lose Steph for a week, so it's gonna be a big loss. Minnesota might have the upper hand, might not. They still got Draymond, great veteran leadership, championship pedigree. Just a whole bunch of winners over there in that team, and they probably got some young guys on the bench that could step up and add and contribute. So we're gonna have to see how the game is tonight. I might step out and watch. There's only one game, so step out and watch that game. And pretty much, that's pretty much it for basketball. Now we just got to wait to see how the games turn out. Now, like I said, I'm going to continue with the draft breakdown, and I'm going to talk about the three, the three teams that I'm broke down from the AFC West. And with the first team, we're going to go with the Broncos. The first round pick, they selected Jaden Barron, the cornerback from Texas. I really thought he was a solid pick. The versatility to play the boundary corner and the slot. He did well in his run fits and on his force run and as a corner. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Very sound last year. It was a very sound, across the board. A lot of DBs got drafted from Texas, and he was deemed the best of the DBs in that whole team. He got picked very high, and it's a solid pick. And when you have that kind of leadership coming into your locker room, you're probably gonna be a day one starter, and you're gonna contribute a lot. Just come in with the same mentality, keep the same technique and routine, and just have that mindset to be a winner, and you'll be okay. With the second round pick, they selected the running back RJ Harvey from UCF. I thought this pick was a very solid pick. He was probably projected, he played he played in a conference that wasn't strong. I think he has similar abilities. Like he's very versatile. He can catch the ball, run the ball. He got great size. He's a 3-down back. Hopefully, he comes in and be able to pick up the blocking scheme, the terminology, and just step right in and be a contributor. They do not have the Broncos don't have a great running back, so he could come in and be the number one running back right out the gate. And you just got to come in and win that battle to whoever they put you up against. They're gonna have a free agent that come in that's gonna be nice from the draft class. They're gonna have a couple veterans on the team. Just come in with the right mindset. You could win the battle and come in. The biggest thing is the blocking protection, getting your routes out of the backfield properly done. Just work on these things on the side and you'll be okay, man. I think you'll have you should have a solid career. They want you on the team. They want you to be good. So that's where they picked you at. The sleeper, I believe they had was who had first round talent was when they selected wide receiver Pat Bryant in third round out of Illinois. Got the prototypical size. He could play X and Z, fast twitch in small spaces, very raw ability. The only thing I really see him needing to improve is sharpening up his route running and and playing it, showing he could play against elite people week in and week out. You know what I'm saying? Just like having that competitive spirit. A lot of these guys are like, I'm the rawest, I'm the fastest, and you got to sharpen these skills up and make sure there's so many veterans that you're gonna be going against. They're gonna bait you. They're gonna want you to think you can play lazy. All kind of stuff that can happen in the games that make you a little bit off on your route, and they get that breakup or that interception. So you just be mindful. That's what separates you in the league, and you don't have nobody cuddling you anymore because they got another guy over there that probably could do the same thing. That's more coachable. So yeah, but overall, I give the Broncos a B grade, and that's it's pretty solid draft class for them. Giving me your B is pretty solid. I don't really give out Fs and Ds. They being a little extra. Like I'm not really looking at everybody has a lot of room to improve. So it's like everybody coming from college. You can't really give nobody an F. Some of these people look. The craziest thing about the NFL is like they got all these analytical and these scabinis that never even stepped on the field running around trying to tell people how football's supposed to be played, how it's supposed to be. And some of it is good, but it's messing up the soul of the game because so many people are intertwined because they threw some money out there and they want to be like the smart guy, like I only played high school. I only played the high school. I'm okay with that. But I was around a lot of people that went to college. I coached a lot of people that went to college. I was very high level at the prep, so I was around it, and I ain't being like I'm not bragging. I'm saying it from a mental capacity. Like when you do that many reps as a coach and you do that many days as in the trenches, you can't take nothing away from what I did. And me speaking on these things as an analyst, as a person of media, or whatever you want to call this space. But yeah, man. So that's pretty much it on that. Now, the second team that we're gonna speak on is the Chiefs. With the first pick, they selected offensive tackle Josh Simmons from Ohio State. Now, this was a great pick at 32. I feel like this guy had top 10 ability, maybe top 5 with the other tackle I was talking about from Oregon yesterday, but he was 1A, 1B, whichever one y'all liked it better. I liked it. I was leaning towards Oregon's tackle, but Josh Simmons used his hand a little bit better. He probably was a little bit stronger, but the athletic ability from the guy from Oregon was a little bit more. I seen a little bit more pop, a little bit more knee bend, a little bit big taller, a little bit more, Jordan of tackle. You know what I'm talking about? Like he got room to improve. I think Josh Simmons was very complete. He went against high level competition. He went against some big boys. He went against a lot of guys that went in the first round over his career from Michigan, and in the other tech teams they played in the championship games and in the bowl games and stuff like that. He went against high level competition. So, but he was very complete already. But he showed the athletic ability against the toughest defenders, and who knows? I think he did a good job getting to that second level block. The athletic ability, he had the athletic ability to play against the pro level type of defender. So I don't see nothing wrong with getting that guy at 32. when they selected him. I think the Chiefs do a great job of selecting, you know, offensive linemen. Like they've been in the conference championship, the Super Bowl for the last 10 years. They've been at that realm for a long time. So they do is reload when they get to these in the draft, and signing these key free agents every now and again. So now, and like I said, I see him being an anchor for the next 10 or 15 years, if barring injury, and that's how I look at him. With the fifth round, they selected Jeffrey Bossa. I think that's how you say it, and he's fast, explosive, and relentless. He has great technique. When he sees it, he hits it. He's very versatile. He could play inside linebacker. He has the ability to blitz off the edge. I think this was one of those, it was like a tweener for inside, outside, but he played inside it mostly. But it's just like he showed explosiveness. He showed great technique, the dips, the sinking your hips, the getting in. Like, I want to see him do more in coverage, probably to play outside, but he probably has the ability. So this was like one of these. How you get him in the fifth round? I don't know what it is about them trying to pick a linebacker, picking linebackers that have first, second round grades, in that late in the round. I guess it was one of those upside down drafts. Hopefully these guys get the opportunity, because that's what way the league's coming to. It's so many players that's not getting opportunities because it's so many. Like, they might have need to expand the league to 2 to 4 more teams, because so many people have not, and it will space out the competition. It will grow. The league's definitely not short of money. I don't want to hear that. It's still out probably every stadium now. It's so well balanced. So that's just my thoughts on that. I don't know if they've been talking about it in these board when they had their little meetings in the off season. They probably these. If you know about the league, these owners are so. I ain't dissing them, because I enjoy. That's why I do the pre-draft stuff and the draft and the players. I'm not really stunned what they own, because they got their own set of ways, and it's very you dig deep. You start being like, wow, you don't even want to be a part of the watching the football, because how the owners and the people they have around them speak, and how they belittle these people on the field. That's entertaining and providing. They're doing it to provide for their family, and they get to these levels, and they made so much sacrifice to get there. So let's just be mindful how it's like it's a yin and yang, and the yin is the player, then the yang is that dark. So man, I just hope for these guys get these opportunities and they make the most of them. With the 7th round pick, they selected Brashard Smith, the running back from SMU. This is why I don't know if Andy Reid's actually drafting these guys, but he's done so good at drafting these type of players in the late rounds. Like, you can't, like, he needed help at running back. You seen what happened when Pachulia got hurt and got banged up at the end of the year. This guy fits the mold of the running backs: explosive, fast, catch the ball out of the backfield, great hands. He don't have to be the blocker because the way their team is set up, it's like a chip and going your route, and that's what he can do. He got, I don't know, he didn't play against the best competition, but you can't deny what you see on film and him being explosive, being fast. And you never know why he had to go to SMU instead of going to Texas or Alabama or one of these high-powered schools. He went to a smaller school. Well, this is a pretty big name. SMU been around a long time, but you know what I mean by one of these schools that's in the SEC or the high level ACC teams or Pac-12. Hopefully, I give the Chiefs overall grade of an A. I wanted to give them an A+. They just got to see how it works out. I love what they did. I love that they read up on their tackle. Like, I don't know how these guys got them 31 and 32, but they did, and to me, they're gonna be the best out of the group, both. So just y'all stay, fit. Don't get in no trouble. Just stay to your, get your mind right on being a professional. Like, college is over. Be a pro. Take care of your body. For you two young guys that's coming in, I got a lot. Those y'all was my pick to be the best O lineman as far as tackle. So I want to see y'all, step up and make that what it is. Now, for the third team with the Raiders, they actually had the best draft to me, so I gave them an A+ overall. So that's why I'm gonna come out and say that. I'm gonna tell you why I gave them an A+. They had a lot, they had a ton of picks. First and foremost, they had like 10, 11 picks. I didn't really count. And with the first round pick, they picked Ashton Jeanty, and everybody was consensus number one running back. He had the quickness, the speed, the build. He showed he could block. He showed screen pass, catch, everything. He had the full package. And the biggest thing was that he I don't know if the only thing I say he lacks is the quickness to get to his top speed. He definitely got the top speed, but just to work on that fast twitch. You might gotta change your diet to get your young quick, your young, not your strength there. You got your strength in college and stuff, but get your young fast twitch back. And don't remember that's very important when you, but them safeties 6'4", 220, 210 now, and they coming downhill at you. And the same with those inside backers, when they get your hands on you, it ain't no joke. So that fast twitch, that getting to that next level and getting clear of it is like important when you become a professional, and you want to get to your still top speed quickly. And I like I said, he's gonna be, he's a true leader on and off the field, and it's gonna help their locker room, turn around that culture and that winning culture. So I like that. Like I feel that about him, the way he checked out when he did the meetings. He not no real holes in his game, and I think that's what really sold him, is that he's able to gravitate and lead those guys in the locker room and be a real leader. So at the running back position, so that's a positive. The most under the radar pick that I thought was, he had, he probably got picked right where he's supposed to, but he has the potential to go up and be, a star. Because I can see he lacks a little bit of speed, but his technique is excellent. The way he keys, the way he reads in coverage, the way he know how to play man to man, everything checks out. His size and length, his weight. He's complete as that prototypical guy who could play X, who could guard X and the Z, the perimeter. He could start in the side, he could come down and tackle. But he played, lesser competition. They picked Darian Porter, the cornerback from Iowa State. I think just like I said, like he could be a day one starter. Like he could whatever they need a hole, wherever they need to plug him in at, he gonna be able to contribute if he comes in and have that mentality to take a position. And this is a team that didn't win. They lost a lot of close games last year. They got a new coach. I didn't think the coach should have got fired. I didn't think it was his fault. You got to give people time to actually build a program or build a team. But hopefully the coach, they got Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll So they didn't drop off. I'm a big Pete Carroll fan. I respect what he did in college and in the pros. So, I'm all for it. I just want to see what's coming on. But what they really, and I hope he let him start. I hope he traded for him. They got Joe Milton. This is what they gave them an A+ grade. They traded for Joe Milton, who was drafted last year to the Patriots. They got him for a 4th round pick, and they had tons of drafts coming in, assets still. And my thing is, like, that's like getting another draft. That's like getting a 1st round quarterback. He got slided out. Drake May was the number one with the 1st round pick, so he got slided out. They felt like he wasn't the face of the franchise. They went with their 1st round pick from last year, which I still don't understand. They probably could have traded Drake May for a 2nd or 1st round pick and kept the guy that clearly showed he's the best. And that's all I can say about that, man. So with that being said, that's pretty much it. My closing statements. This is how I feel. Be aware of the haters and the doubters, but know the power of your mind outweighs what people think about you and lie about on you. So, like, don't let the people who sit there and then do all that slandering and get to you. Just know that, show your appreciation. Yeah, you gotta have character and honor about you when you walk out the door. So I know I'm not a perfect person. I actually know how to slap authority around in America with the disrespect that they did with my pockets and money, and them still owing me 4 or 5 income tax. When I went to school, they stole $3,000 of my federal funding. They done did so much disrespectful stuff in America to my money, stealing my mail, spacing my mail, lying, people trying to, this is like what I'm saying, that they stopping money from out my child's pocket, and it ain't a lot. It's enough for her to celebrate her birthday, get a nice get her schools, put some food in the house, but it's hindering me like I'm not trying to take care of mine. And I don't agree with none of that's going on. That's my experience that I'm going through as a 33-year-old man in America. So no, I'm just saying they didn't get me down. I'm still here. I'm still greater than whoever you try to in society that you think was better than me. They not. I look at them as small and minute. You know what I'm saying? Nothing greater than my child and my children and my family and my mothers, the mothers of the family, my grandmothers, like my grandfather. None. I don't see none of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still gonna be me. And that's all. I appreciate y'all listening. Hopefully Saturday I should get to it. I'm glad I didn't get to do the rest of the job. I got something to do. Like I told you, I gotta help my people, and that's what it's gonna be. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure y'all share. Y'all can subscribe my channel. I know how it is, so I probably ain't with no subscription. Nobody probably listening. My 1 viewer, 2 viewers, whatever it may be. Hopefully I can get to what's crazy. I want to get to like really write my book this summer, and my poem book, and I gotta really sit down and write them out and not rush it. And hopefully, like I said, the way they try to attack you spiritually and mentally, it's kind of weird how they do it in America, but I'm not stunned them. They've been doing it my whole life. They've been doing it just because the show they fake strength. I don't know what kind of strength they got, but it's fake. But you know how I go, man. It's all love. At the end of the day, it's the strong will survive. So, and the weak gonna be putrid and nothing. So, thank y'all for listening. I see y'all. This is Dynasty the show, Dynasty the podcast show, and I'm your host Ira Bush. I appreciate y'all listening and keep tuned. Get your information how you can get it.